Okay guys, welcome to another episode. So I hope you did some practice in terms of adding our roof bracings. So in this episode we are going to make a quick one, and it's going to be all about adding connections to our roof bracings, connecting our roof bracing to our rafters. So if you take a look at our design, the first image there, I've highlighted the first type of connection that we have, and then this is the second type, connecting four of the diagonal braces to get bracing together. And then the third one is connecting two bracings together to the rafter. So let's begin. All right, so first of all, I just want to make this more visible, so I am going to turn on to realistic. All right, so first of all, we need to we'll just use this connection first. We're connecting one diagonal to a rafter. All right, so we go to our connection vault on our templates, on our tool palettes, and we go to this icon that says general bracing. So since we want, as you can see, if you just expand this and expand that as well, it will show you an image for each connection and the description and the connection order. So we want this one, connecting one bracing to a rafter. So this is what we want. So it says gusset plate at one diagonal. This is exactly what we want. As you can see, I've also started. If you start, it goes to your favorites. So let's invoke this command, invoke, and then minimize. So selection order is you select the main member, which is the rafter or the column or the beam. Then you hit enter, and then you select the diagonal or the brace. Then you hit enter. Just wait for some few seconds to load. All right, guys, so this is what comes out. This is what it comes out looking like. This is what it comes out looking like. All right, so let's start editing. Library and design, we're not worried about that. We go to standard. Our gusset plate, remember, is 8mm thickness. That's good, so we edit there. Then item 2 says distance diagonal 1 to profile. All right, that if you check the small image there, it will show you that 2 is the distance from the main member to the edge of the diagonal or our angle brace. So for example, let me just make this more visible, turn around. All right, let's do this. If I change the value from 20 to 150, as you can see, the distance between the web of the rafter to the edge of the bracing or the angle iron has increased. So this is the effect. So as you can see here on our drawing, we have a value of 40. So that is what we need to add. So instead of 20 or 150, we need this to be at 40. So we are good to go. And then if you see offset, we don't worry about that. Offset, you are moving, you're offsetting the brace, the gusset. So we don't worry about that. We go to item number 4. That's the chamfer. So this chamfer, what it does is just play around with some of these options, guys, so that you can see what they do. But I'll just explain this one. So if you see on chamfer, currently it's on set to 2. So if we set to none, that means that our gusset plate comes out like this. So if you set it to 1, that means that it's going to chamfer perpendicular to the axis of the angle iron of the brace. If you then say 2, that means it also chamfers parallel to the brace as well, to the angle iron. So guys, play around and see what these do for you. So then we go to bolting. As you can see, it says 2 diameter 22 holes, so it's an M20 bolt. That's exactly what we want. Grade 88, that's what we want. Standard, that's what we want. 2 number lines, that's okay. Then 2 number columns, it says 3 number columns, it says 1. So if you add 2 here, you see that's the effect. If you add 5, that's the effect. You want to set it at 1, so that's to keep it at 1 like that. Then we go to bolting distance. All right, so the bolting distance, these are the bolting distances. So first diagonal distance to bolt, that's number 1. So that's from the edge of the bracing or the angle iron to the first centers of the bolts. All right, so we've got 35, and then intermediate distance we've got 70, and then to the edge of the gusset plate to the last bolt we've got 35. So these are the dimensions we are talking about, the ones that I've highlighted in green. Those are the dimensions that we're talking about. So let's add those. So firstly, 35 is correct, so 55 we need to change it to 70, and then distance, option number 3, 35, that's correct. So now we're setting this the bolt distance from the edge of the angle iron. So this according to this drawing of ours, that means our bolting is set to the center line of the leg of the angle iron. So instead of gauge line, you click the drop down arrow there and then say center line. So the center line, as you can see now, it says edge distance 35, and this one that says intermediate distance at 5, this means this is for when you add another column on the bolting. If you add another column, if there are 2 bolting, that means the center distance will be 40. But we're not worried about this one. This value, we'll just leave it as is because there's no effect on it since we do not have another column. So let's leave it like that. So from there, projections, if you want to add them, you can add them. Welding set to 6mm, that's what you want. Anything else this side, we're not worried about this. So that's how we want our bracing to our connection to be. That's how we want our connection to be. So mind you, we cannot propagate this connection. Why? Because we have a similar setup here. So if you propagate this connection, it is going to come and connect there as well, and it's going to come and connect this and that as well. So we would not want that. This setup here has got its own connection type as well, so let's not do that. So what we're going to do basically is to copy the connection. We're going to copy the connection and then add it manually. All right, let's copy the connection. I'm sure you still remember how to copy the connection. It shouldn't be a problem. All right, let's copy the connection. Let's add the connection. Connection added, same connection there, and then same connection there. All right, we should be done. All right, so we are done with that connection, connecting one brace to the rafter. So we are done with that connection. So we go to the second connection, which is connecting 4 diagonals to 1 gusset. So what do we do here? Let's minimize that. We go to our connection vault, and then we scroll down to where is the option? Okay, this is the one. 4 diagonals. This is the one. Let me just start that and put it to favorites. As you can see, it says selection order: diagonal beam 1, diagonal beam 2, diagonal beam 3, diagonal beam 4. Order of selection must be counterclockwise or anti-clockwise. All right, so let's invoke our command. Right, select that, counterclockwise, and then enter. All right, so let's start to edit our connection. I like to turn this around because I would like to see the edge distance is there, if there is anything happening there. All right, so from here, let's go to a gusset plate. We want an 80mm thick gusset plate. All right, then set the gap between. The gap between is set to end distances. We want this to be gap between the diagonals. All right, so gap between the diagonals. What is the gap between the diagonals there? It is not given, so we can just put the gap between the diagonals as 30 or even 40. It's up to you, it's up to the design. All right, so from there we go to projection of the gusset plate. Here there's nothing we need to do, just leave it like that. We go to bolts. our bolting according to our design. If you check, it says 8 diameter 22 holes, so that means it's an M20 bolt. Grade 88 is all right. Now we change our distances. Okay, so our distances, that means diagonal distance 1, if you check according to the measurements, we have 35, 75 intermediate distance, and then the end of the edge of the gusset plate to the bolt, it's another 35. So let's add those. So we've got 35, that's okay. Number of lines of bolts 2, that's okay. Intermediate distance, this is 70, and then the lastly is 35, and then this is at it should be the center of the bracing, so let's change from gauge to center. All right, so guys, let's do the same for the rest. That is 70, and then center line, that's 70, and we change to the center line, and then lastly 70, then center line. All right, then we are set with this connection. So from here, welding, default set, everything is all right. Library, don't need to worry about that. So in this case, we are done with this connection. As you can see, we are done with this connection. That's a clean connection. All right, so from here, this connection, we can propagate this one. Propagate joint. All right, as you can see, our joint has been propagated to the other 4 connection places where it was supposed to be. So we are now left with one type of connection, connecting 2 bracings to 1 gusset to a rafter. Okay, so let's go to our connection. All right, so we are looking for this one, 2 diagonals. Gusset plate for 2 diagonals. Gusset plate for 2 diagonals. As you can see, it says beam, diagonal 2, diagonal 2, and diagonal 3. All right, so let's do that. Select the option, click the main member or the rafter, select bracing 1, enter, select bracing 2, enter. Let's wait to load. All right, it is loaded. So I prefer to see underneath so that I can also see how much gap is there, since we do not have that measurement of the gap between the 2 diagonals. Okay, so from there, let's go to standard. Our gusset plate is 8 millimeter thickness. Then the distance between our angle irons and our rafter is set to 35. Let's just put this at 4. Let's see if we have a measurement. No, we do not have a measurement. Let's put it at 40 like the previous one. Let's put it at 40. Let's put it at 40. That's much better. Then from there, everything else you can just check. We go to bolts, diameter M20. That's exactly what you want. If you check there, both diagonals, they've got 2 diameter 22 holes for M20 bolts. So let's go to our bolting. If we check the distances, we've got 35, 70 intermediate distance, and then 35 to the edge. So 35 for the beginning is all right. 55 needs to be turned to 70. Then 35 is all right. Then our bolting is exactly at the center of the angle iron, so we change this to center line. That's all right. Let's do the same for the other one. And then from there, we go to center line. All right, that is done. Projections, if you want to add projections, you can add them there. But according to our design, we do not have any projections. Projection at column as well, we don't have those. Any welding set to 6 millimeter continuous fillet weld. Additional connections and stiffeners depends upon the project. We'll see that as we have different projects. So this connection is done. As you can see, that was very easy. So from here, let's just propagate this. Select that, then say propagate joint. Okay guys, as you can see, that connection has been added there as well. It has been added that side as well. It has been added at this connection as well. So guys, we are done with the roof brace connection for this tutorial. So in the next tutorial, we'll start connecting the tie beams, and then we connect our brace, our circular bracings to the tie beams. All right, enjoy guys, do some practice. I'll see you on the next episode. Cheers.